Well, it's unboxing day and I just wanted to give you a preview of my new sewing space. So everything is unboxed, everything is a mess. It looks as if a bomb went off in here, but I'd like to share with you some of my ideas on how to organize this space perfectly. Hi everyone, this is Renee Romeo of ReneeRomeo.com. You're joining me in my brand new sewing room in my new house. Now, I've been away for a couple of weeks and it's because I've been going through and sorting all of my stuff for this space. Why have I made this a priority? Well, it's because all of my subsequent projects in this home are going to be done in this room. And I need to make sure that I have everything organized right at my fingertips. And not only that, I want this space to be as beautiful as the rest of the house. So it's not simply utilitarian, it's pretty to look at too. So I'm sharing all of my tips and tricks to get you organized and do it beautifully. So let's talk bookcases. A lot of you have issues when you're decorating around a bookcase. You're not really sure what to put there. You need things at your fingertips, but you also have decorative items. You need to incorporate all of these things together. So I'm giving you 2 tips to do this very easily. One is organized by color and the other is organized by shape. So if you keep those 2 items in mind, you will have beautiful bookcases in no matter what room you're working in. So you can kind of see here, I'm working with squares and rectangles, so I have that. I have a few little curvy shapes that I'm kind of incorporating here and there, just in little bits. And then my color. So I'm dominated by black, but I have some white and off-white and then a cherry color and some taupes that I'm working with. So I'm keeping everything pretty neutral. And as I go over the course of time and anything that I happen to purchase, I make sure that I have that color family in mind so that when I go ahead and place an item on the shelf, it's going to look like it was made for that space. Now, when you purchase bookcases, you're going to have a picture on the outside of the box that'll allow you to see what it looks like when it's done, but don't pay any attention to that because I don't care if it comes with 4 or 5 or 6 shelves. You don't have to use all of them. And you'll see, I've only used a couple in mine, and that made way for larger pieces so that it breaks up the monotony of having everything similarly sized. So that's another tip about doing bookcases right. Kind of vary the size of the items that you're putting in there. So these are all utilitarian. These are full of items for me. I have them nicely labeled, very easy to see. If you don't have nice handwriting, get a label maker and put a nice label on there and it'll be perfectly visible from across the room. So as I go along here, so I have an item here too. I'm breaking the plane here and I'm putting something on top of the bookcase. This allows me to pin items onto this that I can see immediately as I'm working on a particular item. I have it right there at my fingertips ready to go. I have the bookcases placed on top of a very durable Formica countertop. Now you could either make them yourself or you can buy them ready-made at your local big box store, and it's really a great surface for any sewing or craft project. It'll hold up really well. And it's simply placed on top of a bank of sink cabinets. Now the sink cabinets are the ones that don't have operable drawers, and I opted for this version because I didn't need the extra drawer space. They're a little cheaper if you buy them without operating drawers, and what I really needed them for was large items. So I have my scrapbooks, I have my polyester fiber fill, yarn, and some big giant wrapping paper bags and bows, all placed underneath here in nice convenient containers. And this is really the mainstay of a lot of my larger items that I store in this space. Now I've managed to get myself out of a windowless basement room into a beautiful light-filled space over the garage. So this is a dormered area, and along with the dormered windows that provide all kinds of natural light, I have these great cubbies that are about 2.5 feet deep by 6 feet wide. The greatest thing about them, and I'm so thankful to the previous owners for building these in and not actually walling them off, is because I can walk into the room, I can see these wonderful fabric rolls. They fit perfectly in this space, and I know exactly what I have at all times. There's also space here for larger pieces that don't fit underneath the cubbies, so I can keep things like poster board and items that I'm working on, you know, window treatments and things that are just too long to fit underneath here. I also have room for another bookcase where I'm keeping items that I don't need on a daily basis, kind of up and out of the way. I also have a spot here for my blackboard, which I just love to use to demonstrate things or write things down. If I have a list that I need going, sometimes it's easier to write it on a chalkboard and have it, you know, kind of visually looking at it all the time versus writing it on a piece of paper. So that really keeps things helpful, and this is where I'm going to demonstrate a lot of my things for you over the course of time. So the next thing that I keep in this one space is I have this beautiful craft table. Now this craft table I think everybody should have. It's foldable, it's very portable, it's on casters, it can go anywhere around the room, which is really helpful, and I'll show you when I get to the other side what I do with it over there. But what I wind up doing is I roll it underneath this space, and I'm going to keep it nice and neat and out of the way. Visually, it's very pleasing. It doesn't look messy at all. Everything is nice and neat. The dormers in this space have given me some amazing storage opportunity. And whereas before I had a closet where everything was kind of hidden behind closed doors, everything needs to be out in the open here. And you know what? I think it's better for creativity because I could see all of my items at a moment's notice, and I'm hoping that, you know, I'll be able to use these items because I'm thinking about them and I can visually see them every single day. So I have my tassel collection nicely hung on a hook rack on one side, and then I have this amazing thread rack hung on the other side. This is something that you can look for on my site and follow along with me as I make mine. This makes me happy. It looks like the rainbow. I know if you make one, it'll make you happy too. But beyond that, you know, I have cats, and the cats like to come and hang out in my space. So I'm thinking about them too, and I'm putting in a couple of kitty perches in front of the windows so that they can lay out, take a nap, or look out the window and watch some birds. So I'm thinking about them too as I'm going through my space. These are the kinds of storage containers that I had at the other house. I kept them behind closed doors. No one would really ever see it, so it didn't really matter what it was as long as it was convenient for me to be able to look in there and see fabric samples or, you know, little craft items through plastic containers. But in this space, I need to be more thoughtful because I'm going to be viewing it every day. So whereas I could get away with having all kinds of mismatched pieces, I've kind of thrown that away, and I'll show you what I've come up with instead. And here is one of two sewing spaces in this room. I have my regular sewing machine. I have this little chair pin cushion, which you can look for on the website and make yourself. My music center, any little tidbit that I need to make everything easier while I'm sewing is right at my fingertips. And I have plastic storage bins set up for all of my fabric scraps. Now these are in drawers, very easy to see, very nice and neatly stacked, so I can see everything at a moment's notice. I also have a clear plastic ghost chair. This is really great. It's nice and comfy, and it's actually able to be moved anywhere in the space that I need to because it's super lightweight, and it slides really easily along my plastic floor mat. Now this cubby also has two bookcases, and even though the bookcases aren't exactly the same as the ones across the room, the thing that makes them a nice cohesive statement is the color. So I have this kind of cherry tone running through the entire space. I have the white running through the space, the dark brown. I have some chicken wire that's kind of being brought in over to the other side of the room. And I can also store larger pieces of fabric and even my serger's sewing machine in the corner. And everything is a little bit more utilitarian in this space, but it still looks nice and neat. And even the little window treatment here that I have that tells me all the different pleat styles on draperies, it's even a cherry tone as well, and looks really nice in this space. So, you know, when you're planning these kinds of things, try to think along those terms and everything will look wonderfully, beautifully neat. Now, dormer number 2 is really a fun area. This is where I house all the wrapping paper. These are little plastic bins that I got from IKEA. Now, normally you house plastic grocery bags in here, but this is just the perfect size and style for wrapping paper. And you know what? Again, you can see it at a moment's notice. You know what you have, and maybe you know what you need to go out and buy if you don't have something appropriate for the next gift you have to get. And another kitty perch with a kitty this time. The other side of the dormer I'm going to use as inspiration. I'm going to use it like a bulletin board. So I have a poster here full of window treatment styles. I also have a little ticket holder from a former restaurant life, so I can take anything I'm working on, a sketch, directions to a fabric store, anything current I can put in this bar, and I know it's important enough for me to take notice of again. As I make my way around the room, we're now in the secondary sewing space with my industrial sewing machine area. The great thing about this is that it's directly across from the regular sewing machine, so if I have a project I need both machines for, I can simply get up, move my project to the next machine, and seamlessly go about the project. It makes it really convenient, and I'm really excited to actually do a project like that and see how well it works out. And you notice behind me I have 2 bookcases pushed into another cubby, the last cubby, and they fit by that much, which is just amazing to me. This house is just perfect for all my items, and you'll see I'm continuing this brown and white theme behind me, more industrial type storage, and then I have the addition of all of my wrapping ribbon, and I've just put them on tension rods between the actual sides of the bookcase to keep them nice and tight. But the great thing is I've rolled my craft table over here, and I've got a little box, so my wrapping paper is right over there, and I can simply just take the ribbon off the spool, wrap my gift, and go. This is so convenient, and it's going to make wrapping gifts just a pleasure. The very last area is the third dormer, and the third dormer houses all of my large equipment. So the camera equipment that I'm seeing in front of me now goes in this space when it's not in use, along with my dress form and a couple of different ironing boards that I have hung on the wall. Nice and neat, kind of stored away where no one can really see them. And behind me is a beautiful mirror that I didn't have in my space before, so from this point forward there's really no excuse for bad hair. And over here I have a great little idea board. I've got a nice little thank you note and some great little items that I can possibly incorporate into future projects as well, just as a little reminder. So these are great items to have in your sewing room as an arsenal to get all of your projects done. Nice, neat, beautiful. This space is so special, and I wish you all the best in getting your space to look as good and to actually be as convenient as everything I've placed in mine. So here's happy sewing to you. This is Renee Romeo of reneeromeo.com. If you like this project, if you enjoyed watching this little tour of my wonderful space, please let me know. Like, share, follow, and subscribe, and I'll bring you another great project like this in the future and hopefully get you better organized in your life.